The dramatic monologue, poetic genre, and the Victorian period. The dramatic monologue is a poem that's spoken by a clearly delineated character who is not the poet. Not just could be someone other than the poet, but actually a clear character. The poem implies a particular situation that gives rise to the speech. It's usually addressed to another character who doesn't speak, but you can sense that character's reactions by what is said in the poem. And the speaker in the poem reveals, often inadvertently, his or her character through the course of the poem. You can almost think of it as a lyric from the point of view of someone who isn't the poet. According to Robert Langbaum, who did a lot of the early work on this genre, the power of the genre lies in the tension between sympathy and judgment. So we're forced into sympathy with the speaker because we're forced to see the world through the speaker's point of view. That's our only access to the world. And we come to understand the speaker's perspective from the inside. But then we step back and we think about who the character is and what he or she has done. And there's a second component of judgment where we evaluate the character from the outside. And that's what makes the genre so compelling, that sympathy from the inside and judgment from the outside. The most impressive practitioner of the dramatic monologue is Robert Browning. We've already heard a good deal about him when we talked about Elizabeth Barrett Browning. He was the master of the dramatic monologue. He developed the genre into a dominant form in the Victorian era. His major works include Dramatic Lyrics in 1842. And notice the title here. It's lyrics, short poems mostly told in the first person, like the dramatic lyric, but dramatic lyrics, as in a play, from a character's point of view, not from the point of view of the poet. It's like a soliloquy in a play. Men and Women, amazing collection, mostly dramatic monologues. So you have all these different characters that Browning is speaking through. Dramatis Personae, another collection of dramatic monologues, and of course it takes its title from the list of characters at the beginning of a play. And finally, The Ring and the Book, which many people consider Browning's masterpiece. So there's a crime, there's a trial, and the same crime is narrated through multiple points of view. So the reader has to construct what really happened, what were the motives of everyone involved. It's a fascinating, very long, fascinating poem. Robert Browning often chooses characters for his dramatic monologues who are insane or morally reprehensible. But he often gives them good arguments, even things that Browning himself believes. So this helps to enhance the tension between sympathy and judgment. And you'll see this clearly in the Browning poems that we'll be reading together.